And we're back on the Moneyline Monaco podcast, just like that. Welcome in. Live streaming on my Moneyline Monaco TikTok. Don't forget to follow me, subscribe, rate, review goes a long way. We are fresh off a 7th and 32nd stroll from the Garden. Post game 2 Knicks Pistons. Saw it in person. Have so much to say. So little time. And being in the environment, both for game 1 and for game 2, really was able to take nice little tidbits as both a spectator and a sports bettor in there with that lens on. And tonight, again, we saw very interesting, I'm going to say, value and betting takeaways on the board, live board from a prop perspective, as well as on the spread. Knicks as high as plus 9.5 in the fourth quarter. They ultimately lose the game by 6, 100-94. If you actually type in on Google, Knicks Pistons box score, it says 94-0. I wish I was kidding. But let's get all serious here for a second. I watched one of the worst officiated games in the history of me in person going to NBA games, which I've been going to games well over a decade here and going to a lot of games in the last 4 years. And I have never watched what I saw tonight. This goes for both sides. This goes for game flow. This goes for all the way down to Hart tying the game on a roommate dime. Shout out the Roommates show. Brunson, beautiful dish. Two-hand flushes it with about 75 seconds left. Knicks come all the way back. They don't blow the whistle. Don't blame the noise in the Garden. God willing, don't blame the noise. Josh Hart, and go to Knicks Twitter, flies through the air like Neo in the Matrix. No whistle. Just like they got all game. A swallowed whistle in an Adam Silver league that I got a lot, I'm going to full court press on. Because I'm going to call what I saw in person. And tiny moment? No. Gargantuan moment in that game. They don't blow the whistle on a hogwash, absolute and one for Hart. You then just play through it. Dennis, under your skin, the menace, all dang game. Inks a 3, and there's your ball game. And I dare anybody to go look across the board. I have not checked. Anybody through 2 games. Let's circle back here. I've already been freezing cold taked. All right, nothing to lose here. I would be hard pressed if any other home court team through 2 games in this NBA playoffs has more than 15 free throws less than the road team through 2 games. That's what we're sitting here going to sleep on. I'm up till it's midnight on the East Coast. Nuggets, Clippers on the background. I'm so hot I had to get this off. I just cannot comprehend a game so poorly officiated. The crowd was mocking the officiating. We're in a gambling NBA now. I cannot stress it enough. This is not 1990s basketball. This is not 2000s basketball. This isn't even 2010s basketball. We are in 2025. This dude, Ray Acosta, what is his name? One of the worst officiated games I've ever seen in the history of me in person. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Knicks fan. I did not take the Knicks. I live bet them pre-flop. Didn't feel good about it. Took them all the way up to 9.5. So, we walked away not a winner, but not a loser. Thanks, Vegas, for the hospitality. But back to the point that I need to call out, like I'm going to call out on in game 1 of the Nuggets and the Clippers. And I just can't not unsee, and let's pull up the box score. I believe off the noggin, I think it's 34 free throws. I'm going to be sick to my Midtown Manhattan stomach. Oh, it says temporarily unavailable. Wonderful timing for the live stream. Look, the Knicks lost the game. I get it. We'll swallow that. But the reality is 34 free throws, all the way down to the last minute of the game. You just can't have it. You just can't have it. And the point I'm making is in a betting community and the world we live in, it's just going to get chirped in a way it wouldn't get chirped 10 years ago. But New Yorkers are going to call you out. Rain, sleet, or snow. It was a poorly officiated game. Did they get out-rebounded? Yes. Did Bridges and Cat not score in the fourth quarter? Yes. But the team still eked and crawled their way back to the point where they're supposed to take a 1-point lead, and they didn't because the refs swallowed the whistle like they did all game. There are at least half a dozen instances. And when you're in the arena, you're hearing the feedback. And I sit in the media section with the luxury of a TV feed that is almost a minute late from what I'm watching in real time. So I watch the play, I hear the arena, and then I get to watch on the monitor the play ensue. And then I get the luxury of the replay. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Like 7, 8, or 9 times this evening, the game was either stopped because of the officiating, poor whistle and react crowd, point blank, flat out. And this is just not New Yorkers. This is like, dude, I'm sitting with my guys. Shout out Harrison, Jeff, Sean. I'm sitting with them. I think Harrison said it. The game flow in the third quarter was incomprehensible. So you're talking like Champions League. They don't have the arena under control, and they're being horrendous with the whistle. Just don't come back to playoff basketball. That's how bad I need to call this out. This is worse than the Jokic triple-double that was retracted. That's how bad tonight was. Congratulations. It's still Knicks in 5. Ton of value for me on the betting board to wrap up the takeaway here, knowing and betting on the Knicks all-NBA season on Knicks pregame. Shout out my guy, Bill Pito. We're staring at a Game 3 line. The Knicks are minus 106. Let's pick them. It's a minus 106 plus 1. No-brainer. Might I remind you, Knicks off a loss. I think off the top of my head, I think it might be 23-8, something like that. They're top 3 in the league straight up off a loss, and now we got a pick 'em line. Bridges, Cat, props, Thursday night, forget about it. I'm looking at them. They've already laid it. It's minus 194. Pending where you shop right now on FanDuel. For Cat to ink 20, it's plus 182. For Bridges to ink plus 182. I mean, the guy had 19 points. Going to the fourth, he ends with 19 points. It's a frustrating, obviously, takeaway. But on a betting podcast, we read, we react, and we hunt for value. And an OG Anunoby slow start, solid finish, but he ends with 10, little below his pay grade in this really post-March run of OG Anunoby. If you watch Knicks basketball, 10-plus games at 20-plus points, as I've said before. He's minus 188 to ink 15 points. So if you're just thinking a little bit, and again, this is straight bets, of course. If you're wanting to piece together a fun little SGP, something I'm just going to point out is an OG Anunoby 15-plus point line, maybe coupled with a Cat minus 194, 20-plus. Now you're talking about just 2 guys really on a bounce back. In addition to Bridges, not that he had a bad game. He had a great look for 3, dish by Brunson. Again, this Knicks team showed a lot of heart. I'm bobbing and weaving in this series. No. The Pistons, and you saw it a little bit pre-flop at the end of the game. I don't want to say sharp money or nothing, was crazy, but the line moved a point in favor of the Pistons in the last hour of tip-off. Has to be noted as they win the game. 6 points outright as 6.5 point closing line dogs. But now we're talking about a pick'em game. Detroit hadn't won a game in the playoffs in over double digits years. So you got to feel good for them. I mean, as a non-Knicks fan, that this Bickerstaff club turned it completely around from what they had last year. But I'm furious, emotionally wrapped up from what I saw. So don't need to go on and on and on about the refs. We're going to point out, though, if there's a little ref etiquette, let's just call it what it is, in a series, game 3 would be the series the Knicks would, be appreciated for the whistle. And Twitter's going to sit there and bark at Brunson and not like the pump fake and fouls he gets from 3. That's good basketball. That's just good basketball. You're getting a defender to jump in the air, and you're getting 3 free throws in a game you're down late. You're going to chirp them? No. The chirps are the Josh Hart and one not call in the fourth quarter. I mean, Cat was hacked. Brunson was knocked around. I mean, it was almost laughable. It's almost comical. But we're going to not play any kind of victim. We're going to call it out, and then we're going to move on. And we're going to read and react, and we're going to bounce back on the betting board, and it's a Knicks money line no-brainer on the game 3 play. For me, no-brainer. Absolutely no-brainer. And I'm going to be dancing on the same game parlay and posting it without question. Now, I love the Hart triple-double, and I love the Cade Cunningham triple-double. Neither got it tonight, but interesting thing to note, Cade went well over 10 boards. I believe him, Tobias, and Duren had over 55. I was close to around 50 boards. Again, the box score is not loaded, and I'm live on talk, so I'm trying to remember this off the noggin. But, yeah, incredible double digits for 3 guys for the Pistons. And the value, again, if you're pendulum swinging and getting awful points, aside from, Brunson goes for 30+, Cade goes from distributing game 1 to scoring game 2. You got to think young team. If you're going Pistons, which I won't be, all right, role players are maybe something in consideration. Beasley bounced back, didn't have a great shooting night from what I saw in person based off game 1. He had, 5 threes in game 1? Maybe 6. Incredible shooting game 1, off game 2. So a guy like Beasley's probably something to consider, I guess, on the Pistons side. Schroeder, obviously. Dennis is not going to go for 20 points again ever in this series. So he was above his pay grade, maybe a fade off of him. But again, he's an energizing guy. From a rebounding thought, though, Karl Anthony Towns was not there tonight. And Karl Anthony Towns is laying minus 240 to get 10 rebounds. And I was looking at him at 3-1 plus money at one point in this game with 3 humble rebounds. I've been really, really looking at cash. Hart on 10 boards. He hasn't got it once. But if you're looking at Knicks getting out-rebounded by double digits, knowing how Tibbs thinks, knowing what ultimately this Knicks team has to do against a very physical, very, very pesky, get under your skin type Pistons club, you got no choice but to play ball in the paint. And I watched the postgame, excellent work for the Knicks, MSG, and in the Tibbs presser, he's simply saying, missed shots are missed shots, but rebounding is effort, and rebounding can be controlled. And the Pistons clearly had a game plan tonight, and it was be more physical, be more imposing in the paint, and they won the rebounding battle by double digits. So the cap, from a betting perspective, I'd like to think 1, if not 2 Knicks are getting at least 10 boards. Now, Karl's plus money to ink 10, and Hart's a little bit of juice, minus 112 on the 10 boards. Another guy who I think could be a plus money play for 6 rebounds is OG. And OG's had a few games where he's kind of flied just into the mix and got himself involved. You also have to I believe, 6 first half rebounds for Mitchell Robinson. A humble second half on the boards, but he's plus money for 6 boards as well, a guy I'd like to consider. So I might even put a little Knicks squad ride SGP together, but just abstract thinking, it's got to be bounce back performances without question from OG on a points perspective, Cat on a points perspective. Really, Cat points plus rebounds. This game 3 might be the best play here. Let me pull up if they even have it. And just to paint a picture, Cat's minus 210 just to ink a double double. I mean, that's how much he's expected to get 10 rebounds, just to remind you. And in the NBA season, there were a few themes we point out of him going below 10 rebounds. And again, he was 75-1. Shout out my guy, Dan Lust, who hit me up preseason for Cat to win one of the best futures I've ever seen in the game. To lead the league in rebounds at 75-1, he ended up not leading the league in rebounds, but right there in the conversation, top 5 the whole year. Incredible foresight. He's 33.5 points and boards, game 3. Got to consider it. This is a 25-12 Cat written all over it game, in my humble opinion. So that does it. Knicks up to 9.5 points on the FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're curious, I do have the tickets. We got Knicks all the way up to plus 1,000 in game 2. Midway through the fourth quarter, they lose the game by 6. Out here on a second double Costanza dip reminder. They're a top 3 team in the NBA off a loss all season. Still a team you do not want to wake up. Let's not sleep on that 3 touchdowns to goose egg a run in game 1. Appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review. Moneyline Monaco, out here cashing tickets. We're out of here on talk as well. Don't forget to hug your mothers. Ta-ta real smooth. All coverage across the NBA playoffs, throughout the playoffs on the pod. Stay tuned.